Yellow or red? We are live online right now. If you're here for the town meeting, come on in. I'm expecting hordes of people to come through the doors as we pray in, right? So I'm going to invite Reverend Valerie and Katie Frankel to come on down. Closer than they are. Come on up with me while we pray in, Reverend Valerie. You know, just for you, those of you joining us online, thank you for being with us. And this is an informal occasion, in case it looks like, we are informally gathering, which we are. I know those of you that are here right now are the important ones to be here, to hear what we have to say and to share your questions and ideas. So thank you for staying. I know some of you might be getting hungry. This won't take too long. And the abundance class is meeting shortly after this, right away, with Reverend Mary. So let's just join together in prayer, if you wouldn't mind. Just once again, step into that place, that space of knowing the divine. The light, the life that is God, right here present. In, through, and as all that is. I know as we come together in spiritual community to share ideas, to hear the good news of what's going on, that there's a sense of connection and moving forward in wonderful ways. This beloved community has been through many things, beginning with the pandemic, and now we're just flourishing, coming into manifestation as a dynamic, spiritual, amazing, healing community where all are honored and loved. I know our time together in our town hall meeting is perfect, that everyone here is valued, seen, and honored. I release my word knowing our time is blessed in 1,000 ways. It is good, and so it is. So it is. I'm going to just invite our board president, Katie Frankel, to come on up. Yay, Katie. Thank you, Katie.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much. Oh.
Yes, then you can just click it.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you, Grant. I think you have Dana back there.
Do we first get a chance to get everybody from Richelieu Hall who wanted to join us? Thank you so much, Ruth, for letting everyone know we were getting started. They're eating. Okay. Excellent. Well, for those of you guys who don't know me, my name's Katie, and I've been a member of the center for over 10 years. My daughter, Claire, grew up in the teen group. I really enjoy volunteering with the tech crew running camera. I joined the board last year. To be honest with you, I am most comfortable behind the scenes. And I recently stepped up and said yes to being on the board because, true story, Donna Phelan asked me to join. She lives one street behind me in Redondo Beach. We never see each other. But after she said, Katie, would you please join? And I said no. Then the next day I went out and I ran into Donna Phelan. I said, I just don't know if it's the right time for me. I've got things going on. She said, Katie, you've really got to think about this. The next day I'm walking my dog and there's Donna driving right by. And then it happened a third time. So I really got the hint that the community was asking me to step up, and I said yes. The skills I bring, I'm a strong listener, a mediator, and I'm really a project manager. That's what I do for my job in tech consulting. And so along with our board, I think we can go to the next slide, I really want the highest and best for our center. And I want to thank each and every person who's here today, because I also know that you want the highest and best for our center. Thank you for continuing to carry forward the vision of Ernest Holmes, Anita Richelieu, Frank Richelieu, Moira Fox, and more. We are all standing on their shoulders. The last time that I had the pleasure of formally addressing our members was a little over 2 months ago at our annual meeting. And so much has transpired since this day in early March that it honestly feels like a lifetime ago. I had to double check my notes on that. And at this meeting, for those of you who were here, it was when Reverend Catherine and Reverend Valerie spent a lot of time discussing the role. You know, what does an interim CSL senior minister even do? And today we know, because we're about 5 or 6 weeks into our partnership with a true Southern California CSL leader, Dr. Sharon Hudson. And if you've not had a chance to attend one of her listening circles, please check with Doris in the front office and get the link for the Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, May 30th. And also join us at the Wednesday service. Dr. Sharon will be hosting a listening circle at the end of that. And so at our annual meeting in March, y'all might remember we elected 2 new board members, Mark Ruth and Paresh Shah. And this meeting, you can see we've started to coalesce into an inclusive force of action. At the highest level, the purpose of the board is to manage the affairs of this center. And this photo that you're looking at was taken at our first board meeting with Dr. Sharon, where we were transitioning from Reverend Catherine as our bridge minister to Dr. Sharon, who is now our ministerial representative on the board. And so it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our superheroes on the board. So if they're here, please stand. The first is May Ruth McCants, who is our vice president and also runs the drumming circle. Next is Melissa Hoyt, our secretary. And Melissa runs the board on our tech crew and is also responsible for the sanctuary garden and for a lot of the operational changes that you see around the center, like the tree trimming. And she also manages one of our social media accounts. Jane Zumbro is our treasurer. Jane, are you here? Okay, Jane might be in Richelieu Hall. Fred Duenas, I'm not sure if Fred is here today, but you'll see he and Vicky here every Sunday as they are our greeters, along with Ruth, Lorian, and like all the incredible greeters that I see every Sunday. Tracy McKenna is I believe, tuning in today from Connecticut, but she is, in addition to being our board member, also creates those beautiful graphics and visuals that you see every week. So thanks so much to Tracy. Mark Ruth, and thank you for joining. I apologize if I said we were starting later to anyone coming in. You've not missed anything. We are introducing our Board of Trustees here. And now we're on Mark Ruth. And Mark and Monica are traveling today, but Mark is one of our practitioners who hosts the spiritual discussion group each week. He's one of our leaders of the men's group, and he will be leading the divine dining, which I'll be talking about shortly. And last but not least, Paresh Shah, and Paresh is not pictured here. I think he was also joining us remotely for this board meeting, and is our representative Harvard member on our board. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Sharon Hudson, our interim senior minister. So folks, in addition to these team members, I also want to recognize Kenneth Darr and Paul Hill, who may not have been elected to the board in March, but really are an active part of our stewardship group. And Reverend Valerie, Dr. Sharon, and Grant are going to talk a little bit more about the great things that they're doing and how they've been involved. So I just want to thank you guys very much. So I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time listing the accomplishments of the board, but hopefully you notice them as well as the ministerial changes week over week. From the exterior lights at night, okay, to the interior, we're lighting it up. And thank you so much to everyone for contributing to that. From the tree trimming to the sanctuary garden to approving the hosting of various events and more. If you're paying attention, you're really noticing how much this board, our staff, our ministers and practitioners are really getting done. So thank you, and thank you. So this leads us to our fundraising team. The fundraising team listed on this slide is focusing on some key events, and I'm going to quickly summarize a few things and then hand it over, I believe, to Dr. Sharon. The first is our Divine Dining is returning. Mark Ruth is leading this, okay? We're really excited about this, and he's currently looking for event hosts. Divine dining, it's not just about having people over to your home for a meal. It doesn't have to be a big event. It can be something for 4 people. It can be for 40 or more. Some ideas include playing the guitar around a campfire like you're seeing up there, right? Taco night, a pool party, a barbecue, mystery dinner, a spa-like experience, painting with friends, an enchanted forest walk with a picnic, dinner and a movie, wine tasting, a haunted house, line dancing, let your imagination flow. If there's an event, a community event that you'd like to join for Divine Dining, please let Mark Ruth know, and you can reach out to me after, and I'll share his email address. In addition to Divine Dining, the fundraising team, we've approved the men's group estate sale that's happening in September. They're going to have a kickoff meeting very soon, and we're going to let you all know how you can support that. Some future fundraising events include partnering with local restaurants for a night out, silent auctions, maybe a 12-hour crowdfunding or telethon, some legacy donations, and more. We have a working list, so please feel free to approach me or anyone on the fundraising team for more ideas. I think, would you like to talk about the summer speaker series and ideas? Why don't we do that?
Okay, I'll just keep it brief. So we decided to do a summer speaker series workshops, and I'll be doing emotional intelligence in June, and Paresh will be doing a life balance class in July. I think Katie's doing the parenting class in August, and beautiful May Ruth is doing tapping in September. So we'll have more information as those come out, but they'll be on Saturday mornings and at least one event each month. So there's that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Yay. So, this looks like the leadership team, but the leadership team is way bigger than this, just so you know. So I'm Dr. Sharon Hudson. You all know that. I know. I just want you to know that it's a joy to be here working with all of you, members, people on the teams. And one of the things I initiated when I got here was listening circles. You've been hearing about that. The first one we had was after a Wednesday service about a week and a half ago. We had more than 20 people there and very much participation. It was a lot of fun. We had our first Zoom one. We had a nice group on that call, and we have 2 more to go. So if you haven't made it to one of those listening circles, I invite you to come. And the reason I'm doing that is just to get a sense of what's happening in the center, what people are thinking, what their ideas are, if they have any concerns, sort of take the pulse of the community. And what I find is you're just amazing. Lots of good ideas, and things have been changing forever. Things always change. So one of the things that I've done since I've been here is to, listening several meetings. Yes, I've had lots of meetings. I had to make this slide because I decided I didn't want to look at my notes all the time. I could look up there instead. I've been meeting with staff, with the ministers, all that, right? And once again, the same thing, just to see what's going on and how I can support individuals and different teams and groups. That's what I'm here for, is to support you. One of the things I'm pretty darn good at is I have an accounting background and a software development background. I've actually developed accounting software for large corporations, believe it or not. So I did a financial review, and we're moving into becoming into alignment with generally accepted accounting principles. That's GAAP. If you happen to be an accountant, you would know that. And I found some things that could just be reclassified. Everything's fine. You have good checks and balances with your finances. They're being handled very carefully. We have excellent people doing the work, and I'm enjoying working with them. We're just making sure that the way we classify things is in the right way. Go to the next slide so I can know what I'm supposed to say next. This is one of the exciting things that I did, was started a Sunday service team. We've been meeting every week since I came. These are the people on the team. And you may have noticed we've changed a few things, right? Just a few. About the Sunday service, we noticed the energy, and this was not something I thought of by myself. Honestly, Andy's part of the team, Reverend Catherine, Reverend Mary, Reverend Valerie, of course. And Grant has a lot of feedback because he's doing our video, and he gives us input about what worked, what didn't work, even the logistics on the stage. It's really wonderful to every week look at that. And I think our meetings over time will get shorter and shorter. But we made some big changes. Let us know if you know you're missing a song, or you want a new song, or think something was awkward. And remember, it's a grand experiment. So like Sharon will try to sit down when she should have just gone off the stage, like I did today. So that stuff will happen, and we just have to go. I learned in ministerial school like 30 years ago that you have to love everything that happens on Sunday morning. One Sunday, we had one musician who played the keyboard and sang, and she called in sick right before the service. I mean, like 9:45. So you have to love everything that happens on Sunday morning. We sang Kumbaya. That was 30 years ago or 28 years ago. You make it up. My husband ran home and got his flute and came back and played. So just let's have an ease about trying new things here. That's really what we're all about. We also started a new stewardship committee, and this is one of the things we're calling out, appreciating Ken Dar and Paul Hill joining some of the board members. And what we're really going to be doing is looking at creating a budget. I think it's really good to have a budget that's approved, and we know that's our financial commitment to keep, committing to certain expenses and hopefully planning for a growing income, I guess I would say. And this is a great group. We're also looking at contracts. The contract for the Montessori school that uses our youth facilities is up, and it's time to renew that. So they'll be looking at those sort of things and having what I would call a general financial oversight. Some other things I'm doing is, this came to me in meditation, honestly. We've been talking, all of us, about the library. The library is kind of hidden behind the kind of entry area office space up there. And very few people actually go back into that library. It has tons of books in it because over the years, people have donated a lot of books to us. And I don't know, in my meditation, I got this, we have a beautiful bookstore. There's a whole section that was used very little. We had books spaced out in it. So you'll see the libraries moving into the bookstore. They're going to be accessible. You can check them out. And we're excited about that. I want to give credit to Reverend Valerie and Robin, because they're doing the work of it. Robin worked in the library. She knows how to, organize stuff. So, and it's a lot of work. So we're still going through them. The other ministers are going to be looking at what do we really want to move into our library, mostly new thought, things that our members would want to see. There'll probably be like a used book sale after this is over, because there may be books we don't need to keep in our library. Who knows? The biggest things on my list are education. We want to start having certificated classes here as soon as possible in offering a rich educational program. We have amazing ministers who are willing to teach different things, and you'll be seeing that coming along. Youth ministry is a big thing in my heart. When I founded a church, we started in a hotel, and we rented a room for children the first Sunday, and we always had children. And our youth group grew, and we had teens just like you. And I know that after the pandemic, many centers are actually having a little challenge with getting the youth to come back. Here, fortunately, we actually have someone caring for the children, and we have a teen group which Maureen's doing a great job with, and we're sending teens off to camp. You'll be seeing them soon again up here. But I want to see us really offering a spiritual program for children. Centers for Spiritual Living has created new materials that we'll be using, and what I want to do, I'll be putting out a sign-up sheet, is invite anybody, parents, members who might be interested in just talking and brainstorming about how to make this work, how to get people engaged, how to bring families in. Maybe you'd like to be teaching or working with the children yourself. We're going to have a gathering, a brainstorming session on that. So I'm going to invite you to sign up for that. There's no sign-up sheet out there this week, but there will be. Other thing that's in the books, over to Katie. At our board meeting, we talked about, are we going to do a fall pledge campaign, something we've always done. And I think it's time to do that again, where we can really know then for our budget for next year what our income will be. We'll have a baseline for that. And we have a leadership meeting coming up on June 24th. One of the things I love to do is bring the leaders together. I'm going to have the board, the practitioners, and the ministers gather. It's a Saturday in the morning for from 10 to 1 approximately. We're going to be looking at what's working, what's not working, what we want instead. We're going to be doing some spiritual work to look at the consciousness that's existing right here, right now about what we want in the future. And if you're interested and you're not a practitioner, board member, or minister, you're invited to come too. Because if you'd like to be stepping into leader, you see yourself already a leader in our organization, join us. We'll have information about that. You can call the office and find out more. Those are the the biggest things that I've been doing. I'm going to, before Grant comes down, Grant's next, I'm going to invite Dr. Moira up because she wanted to say a word this morning. Come on up, Dr. Moira, for our ministerial portion of our presentation today. I feel like stopping to ask questions, but I think we'll go to the end and you can ask your questions then.
Thank you, Dr. Sharon. Well, it's lovely to be here amongst you all again. It's just, there's no feeling like the feeling of being at home. And so, and to all of you watching in too at home. I just wanted to say a big, huge thank you to our staff, our ministerial staff, to Dr. Sharon, too, for stepping in, and to our practitioners, and to all of our working staff, because they're doing a great job and have done a great job. And that makes me feel good. And that's what makes things easier to help oneself to, recover again. And I want to say a huge thank you to our community. You have been absolutely marvelous, and you've kept everything going, and you've been very faithful in supporting the center. And it's a beautiful thing to be part of this center. It's a very special center, this. That's always been my feeling. Even before I became the senior minister here, I always had this feeling about this particular center and this particular community. So a huge thank you to each and every one, and those of you listening in too, who have really continued to support the work. And it's a great work we have here of this wonderful, wonderful community, and all the good that happens because we're all together and we're all knowing the truth, not just for ourselves, but for the world. And the world now, at the moment, needs every single one of us on board with regard to that. And we know that with God for us, nothing and no one can be against us. We know that. And so I want to hugely thank you all for being the community that you are. You've always been a stalwart community. From as far back as I can remember. And this community has always been thought of very highly in our larger community. And we're going to keep the flag flying, and we're going to strengthen what we have, increase what we have, expand what we have, and become much more and more and more of what it is we're all about. And I want to thank deeply every single one of you, all of our members, for your continued support and loyalty. Huge thanks to our staff. Huge thanks to our staff, our wonderful ministerial staff. beyond words of thanks to Dr. Sharon for stepping in and doing such a powerful job, which is what she's doing. Our own ministers, our practitioners, and our own staff members. Wonderful work, wonderful work. And, you know, everybody who has supported our center, and there are many. And for all of you looking in too, thank you. Thank you all. And I just want to say what a joy it is to have the position that I have in this center. And it's a very, very uplifting thing for me. And I know we've only just begun. We have so much more good to experience and bring to the world, and I am absolutely ready for it, and I know you are too. So thank you. Thank you all. It takes us all. It takes us all.
And let's just beam some love here at our beloved Dr. Moira. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And now, Grant Ackerman.
Is it working now? Awesome. Great. There you go. Hi there, everyone. My name's Grant. If you don't already know me, I've become the audiovisual director here at the church, and I was brought on full-time about 6 months ago. Since then, you've probably noticed a lot of changes around the church going on, most notably the lights. Thank you. We finally have lights. And it's been a long time coming. Those lights, they were a big pain in the neck to get fixed. It was an extremely old system. We went through at least a dozen different contractors to find the people who had the right knowledge and the right tools who could work on the system and bring it into the modern century. It was a big project, but thankfully it's finally complete. All of these lights above you, they went from being tungsten halogen lamps that use tons and tons of electricity to now they're energy efficient LEDs, and it's gonna be saving the church over $4,000 a year. These lights are controlled by a Macintosh computer that I have in the back. It's running all the automation software. It controls the lights. I can control with this cool little remote right here. The slides, if you noticed all the lyrics, we have those up there. It's amazing. And I also want to thank my team that I have back there. Melissa on the computer, she switches the cameras. We have Paul back there who does the sound for us every single Sunday. And of course, we have Katie, too, who does the camera for us almost every single Sunday. I want to thank all of them. Couldn't do it without them. So we help bring the service alive in here, both in person and online. So not only do I work in the back on the weekly services, but I also work on IT around the church as well. Together with, oh my gosh, I'm blinking, with Tracy, we've been working on new announcement slides, both out in the foyer and in here. I've been cross-training new volunteers, and soon I'm going to be doing an audit of the center's IT resources, which I've been giving to recently. I used to be an IT technician at another company, so that's something that I'm capable of doing, and it's another expense that the church doesn't have to pay. So I can do it, why not? Continuing on with some miscellaneous technology items that I've been implementing. If you may have noticed in today's program, there's a QR code. For those of you who know how to use it during the pandemic, all the menus, you had to do the same thing. Take out your phone, get the camera, scan that code, and you can donate directly through our website. If you're familiar with Breeze, if you have that account, it also tracks every donation that you get, and at the end of the year, you'll get an email, a notification of everything that you've donated. We've added a third camera angle. I'm working on reorganizing and relabeling the soundboard. There's so much work to do. Even full time, there's still more. I have pages on my to-do list. All right, continuing on. Also, new website. I'm working on a new website. I developed a website before back in college using Wix.com, so we're going to be going over to a new platform, making it easier for our staff and volunteers to make changes on the back end. It'll be easier to keep it updated. And it's also going to replace our email marketing campaign. Right now we use MailChimp, which costs us $23 a month. It's not a big expense, but this website can do the same thing. So that's going to save us even more money. And not only do I work on technology, but I'm also a little bit of a maintenance man. I've been working around the church. Anywhere that I see things that aren't how they should be, whether that's in our services, digitally, or physically here with the building, I do my best to try to bring us back up to where we should be. I've reorganizing wherever I can. I communicate and coordinate with different contractors to make sure that they're coming in and actually doing what they say they're going to do. I follow up with them, make sure we're not being overcharged. Working on developing a maintenance schedule. Yeah, so that's general maintenance projects. And then I want to move on to what I'm working on right now, and this is kind of what I have all of my focus on. Together with the men's group, we've been able to fundraise a huge amount of money. Huge thanks to the men's group. They were able to fundraise the entire cost of this phase 2 of the lighting project, which I guess I should explain a little bit more. If you look up to the top of the sanctuary, we have a couple lights that are out up there. And those were not included with the original phase of the lighting project. Those are still the old tungsten halogen lamps. They are not the energy efficient LEDs. And at the time when we were doing the initial phase of the project, we didn't think it was an option to replace those. But since then, I've actually found a company that is going to custom manufacture a solution for us. And the total cost of that with installation and everything is just over $3,000. The entire balance was fundraised by the men's group, and that's going to save us an additional $1,000 per year. And as it says up there, that'll be starting at the end of this month. So soon, these will be tied in with everything else, and we'll be complete. So that's it for now. Thank you.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. I can't say enough about Grant. I sit next to him. I know, right? Right? It's like, Grant, can you help with the coffee machine? It's broken. Can you help with this? Can you help with that? There's always something. And so, can you get the leaves out of the gutter? Because Melissa wasn't available that day, so. Working on marketing, I've been working with Tracy, and Tracy McKenna, she's on the East Coast right now in Connecticut. So she has been doing a lot with the Instagram, and then also Melissa back there has been doing the Facebook. So between all of that. Eventbrite is something new we're going to be using. Doris always sends something to the newspaper. So we have a lot of different things with marketing. The biggest thing is the website, so that is definitely a work in progress. And we'll get that up to speed and getting more marketing things out there. And Breeze is our church software. Many of you don't know about it, but we've had it for a very long time. If you tend to use a credit card to donate, you could actually just create a profile on Breeze. All I need is your email address. Most all of you are in there already, but you could go in at any time once you create a profile and a password. You can go in there and see how much you've donated and where you've donated to throughout all the years that you've been here. So I will do some classes and some training on the Breeze as we get going later on, but in the meantime, if you are ready to get signed up, just make sure I have your email address and I'll send you an invite. And you can register for classes, calendar events, give online, super simple. And that's all I have. Oh, I'm going to show a couple. Sorry, I'll do a couple. This is what the screenshot basic dashboard looks like. You can put your own picture in there. And then you can also, on there where it says give, you can see recurring gifts or payment methods. It has a drop-down box under general fund, so you can give it to whatever area you want to. Okay? And I'm going to pass it back to Sharon. Thanks.
Stay with me. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Tracy, wherever you are. What a team we have. Anybody have any comments or questions? We're here for you. We must have answered everything they wanted to know, don't you think? Any questions? Well, come to the listening circle. You can check in about anything there, and you can talk to either one of us or Katie. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, board. I'm filled with blessings and deep thanksgiving for all that is right here, right now. So that sounds like we're done. Anything else? Anybody? One last thing? Yay, let's go to the, yeah. That'll do it. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Sunday.